Hi, this is Bob Miglani, best-selling author of Embrace the Chaos. Today, I want to talk to you about how do you adapt to change post-merger. So you've acquired a company, you're being acquired, there's a merger, there's an acquisition, there's integration that's going on in your organization from two different organizations or maybe three different organizations. So how do you adapt to change when it's so overwhelming? Yes, McKinsey, BCG, these consulting firms are driving the process. Yes, they're driving the process. You're going to meetings, integration meetings, you're going to conference calls, there's town halls, there's webinars, there's meetings at all hours of the day and night. It can get overwhelming when you're going through so much change because there's a lot of uncertainty. And so what happens is we tend to focus on all of that uncertainty, and it causes a lot of stress and anxiety in our life, in our job, in our career. And you sort of think about, well, what's the future hold? And then it slows down your engagement, your productivity, and your growth. Well, in this video, I'm going to share 5 things that you can do, that you can start doing today to adapt to change that you might be facing in your organization, specifically post-merger. All right, number 1, what we have to do is to let go of the old organization. Yes, you've got to let go of the past. The company or the organization that was there yesterday is going to change. And you've got to let go of that old company, the old mindset. And the reason is very simple, is because the new people coming into the organization come with new ideas, new ways of thinking, new culture, new opportunities, and yes, new problems as well. And so you've got to do is you've got to let go of the past and the old company because that doesn't exist anymore. Anytime when we bring in new entrants into our organization, new people into our organization, things are going to change. And so if we're going to grow, we have to be open-minded about the new place and try to look at the new vision that the management team and the leaders are going to try to share with you to build for the future, to prepare the organization to meet the marketplace needs. So the bottom line is, number 1, we have to let go of the old organization. It doesn't exist anymore. Holding on to that only gives us stress, anxiety, and also often we're seen as the people in the meeting that are holding things back. And you don't want to do that in times of change. You want to be seen as a growth and a contributor to making the company grow. So let go of the past, and you do that by focusing on the future, focusing on what the current leadership team is trying to build for the future. Focus on the vision of that. So number 1, let go of the past company because it doesn't exist anymore. We have to accept that. That's number 1. Second is, often when we have these organizational sort of changes from mergers and acquisitions, is we focus on the org chart. Yes, the infamous org chart. So stop focusing on the org chart. We get so wrapped up into who's going to do what job, what division, what team has been created, what new department has been created that's going to be run by somebody else, an outsider. We focus so much on the org chart because we feel as though we've lost control of what's happening. And we often complain about the people that are going to be in this role and that role. And you know what? All of that is useless. It's not productive talk. It's not productive use of your time. So stop focusing on the org chart. Stop overanalyzing who has what job, because you know what? Things are going to change even more in the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. The people that are in those org charts, in those boxes, may not be there in the next year or so. So what good is it to try to predict the future? And then the other thing I realized when I was going through a lot of change in my career as a result of mergers and acquisitions. I worked for a very big company in corporate America, Pfizer, and we had a lot of acquisitions. We had a lot of mergers. I went through a lot of this. I had led teams, I had led people, we had meetings, we had integration meetings, we had workshops, we had town halls. There was so much internal focus that it was very overwhelming. And often what the mind tries to do is to try to focus on, hey, I think this person would be great in this job. Oh, I should be in that job, not this other person. So the org chart becomes what you focus on every single day, because that's what's happening. People are getting put into roles and positions to create a structure so they can meet the marketplace needs. But the problem is that you have no control over who's going to get what job. And so it's actually counterproductive to focus on the org chart. And instead, what I encourage you to do is to start focusing on your own goals. That's number 3, is set clear and understandable goals that you have for yourself for the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months, okay? Not the ones that you necessarily submit to your manager, but really your personal professional goals. What do you want to try to achieve? That's not org related. That's not org chart related. That's not change related. I mean, it's really up to you to figure out, in the overall scheme of things, how you fit into the organization, what your role is going to be, and if it's not clear, that's okay. But set some goals, because in the absence of any specific and measurable goals, you're going to end up wasting time and energy spent on things that are not necessarily important. So set goals. Number 3, set goals, specific, clear, have milestones, because you need something to focus on other than all of the change initiatives and the integration that's happening. You need to have clear business goals, customer goals, partnership goals, R&D goals, product development goals, marketing goals, finance, whatever department you're in, you need to have those goals clearly identified. All right, number 4, in all of the change that's happening post-mergers, it's easy to lose sight of the most important thing: the customer, the partner, the people in the marketplace that give you revenues in your company or organization and make your company work and pay your bills. It's easy to lose sight of that. So I encourage you to focus on your customers, on your job at hand, and you do that by having direct experiences. Get out of the office, get out of meetings. I know it's hard. Okay, I've been in organizations, where all we did was have integration meetings for months on end. And what that did was it took me time away from my job, which was managing external stakeholders. But what I started to realize was that the marketplace was changing. And so the best value I could provide my organization, my company, was to have a good sense of what's happening in the marketplace, to try to understand how we can interact with customers differently. So what I would do is I would schedule meetings, conference calls, one-on-one sessions, face-to-face dialogue with my core partners and customers on the calendar over the next 3 to 6 months. Often our partners in the marketplace would hear about changes in the newspapers before, because we were working for a big company, and also all these mergers would happen. So these price tags, these cost cuts, these job cuts, all these things would be reported in the press. And often our customers, in the absence of having a conversation, they would assume, oh, there's all this change going on. They would forget about you. And that's not what you want. So in org chart changing times, in post-merger integration times, don't lose sight of the customer. That keeps you balanced, that keeps you focused on what's really important. And you become more valuable in the marketplace when you have a good sense of feel, when you have your hand and your ears to the ground on what's happening in the marketplace. All right, number 5. I think this is probably the most important thing to do when you're facing post-integration, post-integration in an organization, and it is this. It is have an open mind. Have an open mind to new ideas, new ways of thinking, and new opportunities. We often resist change, especially during a post-merger or acquisition, is because it's not the way we expect it to be. We expect the changes a certain way because we've been there a while, we know the company, we know the people, we think we know those things. And so things don't go the way we think or we want. And guess what? That's not the way life works. We don't necessarily have control over all of those things. You don't have control over those things. And so the most important thing you do have control over is yourself, is what you do about those changes. And so it's important to have an open mind so you can begin to live a career and work in a career and a job that you're going to grow. So have an open mind, because you're going to need to be flexible in these times of change, especially during post-integration. Budgets are going to change. People are going to change. Headcount is going to change. Teams are going to change locations. You're going to get new people in. And guess what? That's not always a bad thing. Change is an opportunity in disguise. Change is an opportunity for you to grow. And remember, the mind is a muscle and often requires resistance and tension to grow. And often you get resistance and you get tension when you're going through mergers and acquisitions. And so it's an opportunity for you to grow. If you really want to grow your career, in your business, in your life, in your job, you want to grow, and you've got to be open-minded about these things. All right, let me summarize. I believe that in times of change that we live in today, organizations are merging, they're acquiring businesses, and it becomes very difficult when you're going through that integration process to adapt to change. I believe you have a great opportunity to grow post-merger when you have an open mind, when you focus not on the org chart, when you focus on the external world, you focus on the customer, don't lose sight of the customer. You let go of the past ways of working, past mindsets, and you begin to focus on goals that you have, that you created for yourself, the vision that the company and the leadership have for you, and you're going to have a great career ahead. This is Bob Miglani with love and respect for all that you do. Have a great day. Hope this video has been helpful. Share it with a friend, and look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you.